through Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m., because we are here to break the culture of silence. So, if you have a story that you want us to bring to the family of adult conversations, make sure you send in your story. Send in your story to 0703 175 6537. Send in your story along with your name and contact telephone number. Send in your story and contact telephone number as well as your name to 0703 175 6537. Tonight on Adult Conversations. My name is Festus. I'm 40, a successful businessman, and my wife is 32 years old, a teacher. We've been married for 8 years. My wife confessed to me a week ago that she cheated on me and is pregnant for the man. We had actually been going through some problems, so we had not had any sexual intercourse in almost a year. We had sex for the first time again last week after we talked and actually agreed to go to counseling together. I thought we were making progress after the conversation, only for her to tell me that she was pregnant for another man and wanted to pass it off as mine because the man didn't want the baby. I know we're still going through a lot, but I love my wife. I didn't expect this, so I don't know how to go forward with this. Please help. Interesting story tonight coming in from Festus. Festus is 40, he's a successful businessman, and his wife is 32, she's a teacher, and they've been married for 8 years. Now, he says his wife confessed to him a week ago that she cheated on him and is pregnant for the man she cheated with. Now, according to him, they had been going through some problems, and they had not had any intimate time, any sexual intercourse for almost a year. That's how bad their problems had been. Now, they had sex for the first time again last week after they talked. So they talked and agreed to go to counseling, after which they had sexual intercourse. And that was the first time in more than a year. Yes, or in almost a year, let me put it that way. Now, he said, I thought we were making progress after the conversation, only for her to tell me that she was pregnant for another man and wanted to pass the baby off as mine. So that's just saying that after they had agreed to go to counseling, after they had the talk, after they had sexual intercourse, that was when she now confessed to him that she was actually pregnant for another man and she wanted to pass the baby off as his because the man didn't want the baby. Now, he says, I know we're going through a lot, but I love my wife. I didn't expect this, so I don't know how to go forward with this. Please help me. The number to call to give Festus some advice tonight is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages. Send it to that number I just called. And of course, the option to call is also there. Now, when you call in, please make sure to turn down the volume of your radio. Turn it down so that we can actually hear you and we can hear you properly and correctly. Also, when you call in, please keep your advice. Yes, that's it. Keep your advice down to 2 minutes, please. Keep it down to 2 minutes and keep it short, simple, and constructive. Thank you very much. Yes, if you want to join the Adult Conversations family group chat on WhatsApp, please feel free to send in your name and WhatsApp number. Send in your name and WhatsApp number on WhatsApp to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Now, I'm going to go on the WhatsApp group chat and then open that to read messages, after which I'll open the phone lines. This one is coming in from Mommy Kings, who hasn't texted in a really long time, by the way. Thank you for this message, Mommy Kings. Mommy Kings says, Festus, this is seriously. It is true you love your wife, but how sure is your wife's love towards you? Now she's pregnant for another man, and you have to wait for her to have the baby, and after or before you can make your decision. She said, please pray. Oh. And that's coming from Mommy Kings. Ishime is saying the possibility of giving the baby to the real biological father in the future is very high, since the other man is aware of the pregnancy. No sentiments in issues like this. It will be a disaster after training a child, only for the real father to show up to claim his child. And that's coming from Ishime. There's no particular advice there. He's just clearly stating that it would be a tragedy for him to raise this child, only for the child to now be taken away by the biological father. So what is your advice tonight? 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening. Am I speaking with Young?
This is Young calling from Guru.
How are you doing today, Young? Thank you for calling.
I'm doing good. How was the weekend?
Good, very good. Thank you so much.
Nice. So, this is when love is involved, it becomes a hard nut to crack. I'm not an advocate of divorce. I'm not at all. But in this situation, this is the only situation biblically, because I know that a lot of people are going to come out to give scriptures and quotes and say one or two things. But biblically, this is the only ground on which marriage can be broken.
Okay.
This is the only ground on cheating. This is the only ground that Jesus himself permits divorce. But conditionally. The condition is if. The condition is if.
Go on.
The man cannot. If the man cannot bear it, he has the right to divorce his wife. That is the clause. But if he can endure it, if he can bear it, if he can overlook, if he can forgive, and continue to live with the woman, is his choice. It's not against the law.
Okay.
So waiting for her to put together before you make decision, I don't think it's right. Make your decision now and let it go out of you so that you can move on. The next 9 months or 8 months or how many months that is left for the baby to be born, you'll be living in anxiety. So take your decision now and let it go off you once and for all. If you're going to live with her, take your decision and forgive and know as if nothing has happened. Continue your life. If you're going to divorce and continue your life as if nothing has happened.
All right. Thank you very much, Young. Thank you for calling. All right, clear advice from Young. And he's saying that in this situation at the moment, he doesn't see too much going on here. And he says particularly because love is involved. And he says when love is involved, it's a hard nut to crack. And believe me, there's a lot of truth in that statement. He's also talking about the fact that infidelity / cheating, or whatever name you choose to call it, is the sole reason in the Bible that permits divorce. So he's saying in this case, you can decide to divorce your wife. You can decide to call the marriage quits and both of you should move on. But he's saying that is if you cannot handle the situation. If you can, he's saying to forgive. Don't mention it again. Don't bring it up. Just move on. If you can forgive her, move on, work on your marriage and move on from there. But if you can't forgive her, then this is the part in the Bible. This is the cause in the Bible, let me put it that way, that permits divorce. So you should decide before the baby comes so that both you and your wife can go your separate ways and start living your separate lives, if that's your choice. Thank you very much, Young. Thank you for calling. Now, what is your point of view on this? What is your point of view on this? Does it count for anything that she actually confessed that she wanted to pass off the baby as his? Because she actually wouldn't have told him, or she actually could have not said anything about it. She would have moved on and just continued like nothing happened and when after they had sexual intercourse, and then in a few months from then or the following months, you just say, voila, we're pregnant, hey, and both of them be excited, being that they were having issues, and they would see this baby as a bundle of joy into their marriage. So she could have not told him. Does it count that she told him about it? Does it count for anything that she confessed to what she was going to do? Now, she says she was going to pass the baby off as his, that's as her husband's, even though she cheated and got pregnant for another man, for the man that she cheated with. But because she didn't now actually do that, does it matter? Does it matter that she didn't now do it? Then she said she was going to pass the baby off as her husband's because the man didn't want the baby. Ergo, if he wanted the baby, then what would have happened? If he was okay with the baby, would she have left the marriage? What would have happened? Now, that's the part I can't quite wrap my head around. That's the part I've not really filled in that gap with. So that's why I need you. That's why I need you. Help me fill in the gaps. And of course, give advice to Festus because he needs it. He says he knows they've been going through a rough patch, but he loves his wife and he doesn't know what to do. So now that she has confessed, he's saying, I love my wife. I didn't think things would get to this point, but now that we're here, I don't know what to do. And that's what you're coming to give Festus some advice tonight. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or WhatsApp message and I'll read it. 0703 175 6537 is the number to send a text or WhatsApp message to. 0703 175 6537. Now, one school of thought would say that, oh, but this is something that men do. This is something that men do. They go out there, cheat on their wives, have babies by different women, and then come back and beg for forgiveness, and then bring the child home, and the child will be raised by their wives, the wives they cheated with or they cheated on. Yes, the wives they cheated on. So, if you're following that school of thought, do you think this is excusable? The bottom line here is that Festus's wife is pregnant. She's pregnant by another man who is not her husband. Now, this man does not want the baby, and she wanted to pass it off as her husband's child, but she didn't eventually do that. She confessed to doing what she wanted to do, even though she hadn't done it. So now her husband is saying, okay, now that you've told me this, I don't know what to think, I don't know what to do, but I love my wife, and now I'm confused. So if this was you, what would your choice be? What would your decision be? Would you stay in that marriage? Would you work on that marriage? And would you go forward with that marriage, knowing that the child that your wife is carrying is not yours? What are you going to do as the man in this case? And of course, if you're the woman who has now confessed to doing, who has confessed to what she was going to do, what would you do? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Teju. I'm calling from Dagada.
Okay, first, I really can't hear you, but I need you to turn down the volume of your radio.
Okay, my radio is off right now. I'm in the car driving. My radio is off, but I'm back.
Okay, thank you again. Please, what's your name again?
My name is Teju.
Okay, Tejiri, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Dagada.
Okay, thank you very much, Tejiri. All right, what do you think? Please go ahead.
Yes. Well, I didn't get the storyline from the beginning, but from the responses and the advice being given, like the other caller already said, the only ground for divorce as approved by the Bible, as approved by Jesus, is on the ground of cheating. But again, let us look at it from another angle. The wife, from what you have said, from what I heard or the part I heard, she made confession to the husband that she actually wanted to pass the baby on. If the other man had accepted the child, she has made this confession. And I don't know if there was a quarrel. Like I said, I didn't get the storyline from the beginning. I don't know if there was a quarrel between them and they parted. that gave room for the wife to cheat on him?
Yes, they were quarreling. They were quarreling. They were not on good terms, and they were having these issues for almost a year. So they had been going through a rough patch, basically.
Okay. Well, a cheating wife is not a very trustworthy person. A very trustworthy person. But I pity the man because he loves his wife, and love can do anything. Love is forgiving, love is kind, love is everything, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 to 13 or thereabouts. So, on the ground of forgiveness in the Bible, she can always forgive. He can always forgive. He can always forgive, and let's see if the woman will tell him. And again, if they've gotten children together before, I will not advise a divorce, because the children are the green, are the grass that will suffer at the end. So let him play very well to his God. Let him absorb the shock, and let him forgive, and see how remorseful the wife is in the course of carrying the pregnancy in the husband's world.
All right. Thank you, Tejeri. Thank you very much for calling. Interesting comment, and she's saying forgiveness is important here, and this is particularly because the husband says he loves his wife. The husband says he loves his wife, so she's taking that to mean that because you love her, you will be willing to go on. Now, again, it's a speculation because we don't know specifically what it is that he wants to do, but she's saying if you love her, then you might as well just forgive her and go on with the child. The other guy doesn't want the baby, so you might as well go on, make everything official, and move on. But she's saying you should also watch to see how remorseful your wife is. Your wife who cheated on you, watch to see how remorseful she is while she's carrying that baby in your house, knowing that you're not the real father of the child. So that's basically what she's saying. Forgive and watch. Just forgive and watch. But what are your thoughts tonight? What do you think about the story? What do you think that he should do? This is a message coming in from Badagry, from Yemi Ogundare. Yemi says, to me, I think the man needs to quit that marriage right now. Thank God the woman revealed the secret in time. If not, it's dangerous. So, all right. Keep your text and WhatsApp messages coming. 0703 175 6537. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
Good evening, Young.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was coming to the second part when I ran out of airtime.
Okay, very quickly.
So, all right. Now, that second part of where she says that the man, she's referring to the man because the person responsible doesn't want it. It is a clear message. It is a clear message that if the man has accepted it, I will have gone my way. But
okay.
In the nutshell, yeah, that's the clear message. I'm giving it to you because the person responsible doesn't want it. That means I'm giving it to you as an alternative.
I was going to give it to you. She confessed because she didn't go through with it. So I was going to. She didn't actually pass the baby off as if she was going to. If she had not told him at all, then that means she did it. But she confessed to doing what she had. She confessed to what she was going to do, meaning what she had planned. No, so she didn't actually do it. That's what I'm saying.
She did not accept it. So that is why. So it's not like for the person, the man in this man now to make, just like I said before, to just decide.
Okay.
Let him make a choice for himself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Young. Thank you for calling. All right, so he's going back to the point that, what if he accepted the baby? What if the man you cheated with accepted the baby? Then would that have meant that you would have ended the marriage? Would that have meant that she would have carried her children? And just so we know, additional information, they have 2 children. They have 2 young children. They've been married for 8 years, so they have 2 young children already between themselves. So I needed to add that. So they have kids, and she is pregnant again with this 3rd child, but not with her husband, but with the man that she cheated with. Yes, I needed to point that out. So as we're giving advice, we can get the full construct of the story. This is still Adult Conversations on Women Radio 91.7. What do you think about the story, and what do you think that Festus should do? What is your advice?
Come on, Lagos. We're turning it all the way up.
You know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen,
Women Talk on WFM 91.7.
here is a list of excuses that will no longer be accepted. I beg, give me your hotspot. I want my data, but this one too much.
Please, could you put your Wi-Fi on? I'm out of data and the recharge card seller has closed.
Oh, I'll get recharged though, but I can't find my wallet.
Please, I've got cramps and I can't get up. Can you share your hotspots?
Don't know where my internet token is, and I need to quickly buy data. Please, could you share your hotspot till I find it? Hey, Jumbo, I said buy data, but that recharge card seller need to ever get changed. How would you? Now there's really no excuse to ever be out of data with Joe Brody Data. Dial star 321 hash to borrow data now and pay later. I beg, I said share your hotspot. This way behind. Make fun and no go fireman. The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537.
One new day, I'm feeling stronger. Fit to do anything, but fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. See me as a mother, now that I see me on the bridge. Let me as I see me on the way. You fuck up so long for the people, yeah.
Prepare and recover with Astamine, a blend of amino acids and multivitamins.
I don't repair, I don't recover, yeah.
Hello? James, look, I'm on the expressway. My car just broke down and I don't even know what to do.
Sorry, you do not have sufficient credit to continue this call.
Oh, please, no.
Why not?
This is an important call.
Then you should have recharged.
I won't, but I'm in a position where I can't.
Why not borrow some credit then?
Borrow credit? How?
With no borrowing credit, you can borrow airtime and pay later. It's easy. Just dial star 321 hash and follow the instructions.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Flow is always there for you when it matters most.
Sorry, James. As I was saying, my car just broke down now and I have no help here.
Talk now, pay later with Glow Brody Credit.
The big question. Corruption is, in fact, is increasing more. We never had a snake and whether Saturn are swallowing money.
Why?
Everything has increased.
Conversational, controversial, and borderline disruptive. The big question.
Mondays to Fridays, 12:05 p.m.
On your Women Radio WFM 91.7.
I feel that there's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives.
Government has also put in place a
We should arrest Nigerian from.
This is Panorama.
Mondays to Fridays from 9 to 5 a.m.
WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria's political zones, dissecting, discussing, and disagreeing on topical issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by tweeting us at WFM 917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Minutes to 7 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. My name is Somto Titilayo Ajama, and if you're just tuning in, you're welcome. Today on Adult Conversations, we're profiling the story of Festus. Festus is telling us that he's 40, he's been married for 8 years, he's a successful businessman, and he's been married for 8 years to his wife, who is 32 and a teacher. They have 2 children, and they've been going through a rough patch recently, so bad that they haven't had sexual intercourse in almost a year. Yes, I said that because he said that. So bad that they haven't had sexual intercourse in almost a year. They've been having that hard of a time. Now, a week ago, according to Festus, he and his wife finally had a conversation, and they decided and agreed to go for counseling together. Now, right after that discussion, that agreement, they had sexual intercourse. Now, right after the sexual intercourse following that conversation, his wife confessed to him that she's pregnant. She was cheating, and of course, or she was cheating first, and then now she's pregnant. She's pregnant for the man, and the man doesn't want the child, so she was actually going to pass off the baby as his, not as her husband's. But she eventually didn't do that, and that's why she's confessing. So he's thinking, I thought we were making progress. I thought we had a conversation, we had sex. How did we get to this point where you're telling me this? So he said he didn't realize that things had gotten that bad, but that he loves his wife. And now that she's confessed to this, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to go forward from here. And that's where you come in. This is where you give Festus much needed advice, because he needs this to be able to go forward. He needs this to be able to direct the course of his life going forward, because it is the course of his life as well as his wife's and the life of his family, basically. So what is it that you would advise Festus to do at this point? What is it that you would advise him to do? Because truth be told, he's in the middle of a really sticky situation and really doesn't know what to do. Now, some people have said already that all you have to do is, let her go. And some people have said, you know what, just decide what you want to do. But what do you think? What do you think he should do? How do you think he should approach it? Because now he's just at a loss. He doesn't know what to do. So the number to call to give advice to Festus is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 is the number. You can also send in your text messages or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. As always, I would ask the same question I usually ask. Have you been in these shoes before? Did your husband cheat on you and bring in another child from outside for you to raise? Did you forgive him and take in the child as well? Did your wife cheat on you and bring another child in from another man, but you forgave her, you took back your child? Or you didn't forgive them? What happened next? So share your experience and give advice to Festus, because he really needs it. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. I know you can hear me, and I know you want to contribute, so go ahead and do that. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Thank you for calling. Hello? Okay, kindly call back if you can. So, what do you think concerning this story? How do you think this story should be reflected? How do you think it should be approached? What do you think Festus should do? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, thank you for calling. Yeah. What's your name, please?
Yes, this is Moses calling.
Hello, Moses. Where are you calling from today?
Calling from Apapa.
From Pakma?
From Apapa.
Apapa, okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Moses. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Yeah, you're welcome. I am really looking at this issue because it happens to be me. Because any matter you present on the radio, I normally put myself in the shoes so that I will know what step to take.
Okay.
But the people, those people that have been calling on the program, they are talking about forgiveness. So had it been the whole issue did not involve pregnancy, you can be talking about forgiveness. And it's not that she came into a marriage with a baby already. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. Watching your wife carrying a pregnancy that is not yours, caring for her, allowing her to give birth, raising, can we say a bastard? Because that's the name. Yeah, so it's not easy. It's not easy sending the product of infidelity of your wife, spending money on it. You sound somehow.
Okay, let me help you understand this a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the balance it out route. Now imagine if it was the husband that cheated. If it was the husband that cheated and came back and said, my wife, I cheated on you, I'm so sorry, this, that, the woman got pregnant, and then no matter how many the woman parasha, the man is still asking for forgiveness, and eventually she forgives him. The woman that he cheated with delivers, and they bring the baby home, and then the woman starts to take care of that child. She's going to take care of the child as her own child, and she's going to be looking at another woman's child. But she'll be taking care of that child. So, as I said, it's not easy, but it's doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. Exactly.
Wait, I understand the perspective that you are coming from.
Exactly.
All right. And I'm also telling you that people that will do it, or women that will do it, they are very, very scarce.
Actually, they're not as scarce as that. More women would do that. More women who love their husbands and, of course, who have children in that marriage.
Wait. And as well, we also have some women that we tell them, well, wheresoever you have come across a woman, keep the woman and the baby aside. Let them stay aside. This is my own home. Do you understand? It's not that they will depart. No, they will not depart. They will stay still together. Only that the mother and the baby will be outside, and the man will rent an apartment for them.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not supporting cheating or somebody having an affair outside. Or in as much it involves the baby, it involves pregnancy. So that's what I'm saying. That is for me, it's difficult. And ever since I've even entered into my own marriage, I have never cheated. I normally tell my wife, if you are taking my phone, or you are only giving yourself headache. And that's the only thing you can do, and I will not forgive you.
Okay, Moses. So what is your advice now? What is your advice?
My advice is, it's divorce. Yeah, it's divorce.
Okay.
Because how will I keep such a baby and then I will say I'll forgive you? Even if I'm forgiving you, I can never forget it. In as much as you setting my eyes on that baby, I can never forget it.
Okay.
So please, there is divorce.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Moses. Thank you for calling. See, this is why sometimes it gets really. I'm trying to phrase this the right way. It gets relatively triggering or a little bit upsetting when people are telling women to take certain things, like, oh, your husband cheated, and just take the child, forgive him, don't leave your marriage, do this, do that. But when it's the man that does this, everybody's like, oh, no, he can't accept it. They need to divorce. They need to start going. The woman needs to everything. She needs to leave. And then, it kind of makes me feel sometimes that sometimes, men cannot take what they dish out. Sometimes, again, not every time. Sometimes some men cannot take what they dish out. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Good evening. My name is Victor. I'm calling from Okota.
Okay. Hello, Victor. Thank you for calling. Hope you had a good day.
Yes. Yeah, nothing. So, this matter, I would say for a wife bringing in another child into the marriage, like, what's the essence of the marriage? Because the man now, if I'm the man, I'll just divorce the lady.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just divorce her. If I'm the man, I'll...
Hello? All right, Victor, if you can call back, please go ahead. Again, some men can't take what they dish out. I'm really hoping that, some of these men who are saying they won't do this, they won't take the child because the woman has broken the trust, they won't take the child because they're looking at another man's child. And even if they forgive, it will be hard to forget. I'm really hoping that these men are not the types that would cheat on their wives and expect their wives to deal with it. Now, whether or not there's a pregnancy, it's not easy to forgive somebody who has cheated. It's really not, particularly when you're starting afresh. You're like, okay, let's rebuild the trust, let's begin again. And then the worst kind of people are the serial cheaters, the men or women who cheat non-stop. So it's like, I cheat number one, I come back and beg. Cheat number two, come back beg. Cheat number three, come back beg. If I go reach some point, they're not going even to beg again. In fact, I'm going to cheat the cheating for the woman eye or for the man eye. They don't get anything when they want to talk. Now they don't cheat. At this point, they don't accept them. What do you think, though? What do you think that Festus should do? Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Can you be louder, please?
Good evening.
Thank you very much. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John from Ikorodu.
Okay, thank you very much for calling, John. Please go ahead.
Okay, where was the just both of them not residing in the same vicinity for him to have left the wife for a good 1 year? Even if both of them were not having things rosy, that does not stop his manly duties over his wife. So if you look at it, really, it's the man that caused it. For a whole 1 year, he left her untouched, and you expect her to hold her hand and be waiting for you. If you investigate the man very well, you will see that he too is a culprit.
Okay.
He's a culprit. For me, I would just say if the pregnancy had not gone too far, they should just be away with it and the take the first back. But if it has gone far, you should leave it. When finally gives birth, maybe you should just at the motherless home and continue their life.
Okay, so what do you think would become of the marriage then? Would you say that they should go their separate ways, or that they should try to work on the marriage?
It should remain.
Okay, so they should work on the marriage then?
They should work on the marriage.
Okay.
He shouldn't have left the wife for close to 1 year. Why would he do that?
All right.
It's quite a long time. It's a very long time for you to have left the woman untouched.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Thank you for calling. Interesting perspective, particularly by a man, if I'm being very honest. And truth be told, he is right. Sometimes things like this happen in marriage, rough patches, and the marriages hit a certain brick road, and then things are happening, and then they're trying their best to navigate the entire thing, and then they're probably asking themselves at that point if they want to go on with the marriage or if they want a divorce. Now I'm thinking, if Festus and his wife had gone through this rough patch, again, he didn't say specifically what it was. He said it's something relating to his work, and then something that he did to her, something that he did to her, and everything just kind of compiled into the entire situation. So basically, they went for a whole year living together in the same house, but they're living like roommates, basically. She would cook, he would eat, they would go out, come back, they would have fun times, where they would sit down, watch movies and talk and all of that. But they didn't talk about the issues that were going on with them. So I'm thinking that it was somewhere in this whole situation that they were probably thinking, are we done with this marriage or are we not done with this marriage? Because that conversation that he talked about, he said they finally agreed to go to counseling together. So that means they must have been going through a serious hard time, probably when they were either thinking they wanted to leave the marriage or they just wanted to be done with it, basically. So John is saying if you left your wife untouched for 1 year, now irrespective of whatever fight it is that you were having, it doesn't mean that you cannot still come together sexually. Now, believe me, it's not as easy as it sounds. You're not going to rape your wife. Obviously, that's not even right. That's not morally right. So that will not even be advised. But and since you're not going to do that, it's not as easy to say that, okay, they will just get back into it. It's not as easy, particularly if they're having issues. It's not that easy because the man is not a robot. She's not a robot either. You can't just say, oh, yeah, get in there and do what you have to do. It's not that easy. So maybe that's why they didn't have sexual intercourse for almost a year. And finally they did. But John's point is saying, you know what, you kind of caused this. You have a huge fault to play in this. You had a big hand in this, because he's also saying, if you look at it well, even this man who they talk, so this Festus himself, they cheat on your wife, because how man go stay 1 full year, no go touch anything, no go do anything, and you tell me say you know they cheat. Maybe said I no deal, but that would basically not be the general point of view on this. So he's saying they should, if the baby has not gotten to full term, they can decide on what to do specifically, and if not, then they can just have the baby and drop the baby off at a motherless baby's home, or give the baby up for adoption and go on with their marriage. Work on their marriage, not just go on with it, but work on it, because this is something that they both had a hand in. He's saying work on it. But what do you think? I'm very interested in what you would do if this were you. So as a man, what would you do? What perspective would you look at this from? Would you encourage John's perspective to look at it from the fact that you had a hand in this too, and this is the result of what you also did? Now, this is not absolving his wife of every responsibility. No, this is basically accepting that even he had a fault to play in this. So what would your response be? She's pregnant by another man. She confessed to wanting to pass off the child as his, that's as her husband, but didn't eventually do that, which is why we're having this conversation. We're having this conversation today because she confessed. So if she had not confessed, that man would be feeling like, oh, we're having a child, when in reality, we're having a child. I mean, she's having a child, but she's not having your child. So what would you recommend for John and his wife, for Festus and his wife? What would you recommend for Festus and his wife? I want to hear from men, and I also want to hear from ladies. What do you think should happen at this point? 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. What would you do if you were in Festus's shoes? What would you do? How would you navigate the situation? Would you forgive your wife? Would you forgive your wife? Would you divorce her? What would you do? Now, bear in mind, they have 2 children. Yes, they have 2 children. So what would you do? How would you approach this situation? I want to hear your thoughts. You can also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Kindly call back if you can. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. Send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. Now, we're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at WFM 917. You can go on there and watch the program as it goes on at WFM 917. That's the universal handle. On Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, that's the handle. But we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. So you can watch it there and then connect with me. Leave a message, leave a comment, and of course, let's hear your thoughts concerning the story. What do you think that should be done at this point? Or specifically, what do you think that Festus should do? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. My name is Wasi.
Your name again, please.
Wasi.
Okay, thank you very much for Wasi. Thank you for calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ogijo.
Okay, thank you for calling Wasi. Please go ahead.
And the thing I think is that it's not proper for a woman to cheat and make to get to pregnancy stage. Do you understand me?
I'm listening to you.
And for the man, it's not easy for you to cope with your wife. And then the pregnancy is just something that maybe they will need to terminate the pregnancy because it's not easy. The man cannot cope. The man has a hot temper issue, so they cannot cope. Man cannot cope.
Well, where did you hear that? I didn't say anything about hot temper.
No, when we are looking about cheating, men cannot cope with those things. Man can do it, but when they know their woman are doing those things, they cannot cope.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So why is it okay for the man to do it, but the woman, when it's the woman's turn now, it will now be the man will not be able to cope. If the woman can cope, why can't the man cope?
It's not easy.
It's not easy. I agree with you, Wasi. See that one that you're saying there, Utoni, I agree with you completely. It's not easy, but the women used to take it. So it's not easy too, but can the men take it?
The men can take it, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
Okay.
You'll be looking at your wife, and the pregnancy is here. If I'm the one, even if I can keep the baby,
okay, so you can't say that.
Yes. And so that's the only thing. They have to terminate the pregnancy. That's the only thing. That's the only solution I see.
All right. Thank you very much, Wasi. Thank you for calling. Interesting option. And that option is so convenient. It is so convenient. And I say this because, again, if the tables were turned, this wouldn't even be much of a conversation. Because once the man calls all his family and they all sit down and they talk about it and have a really large conversation, everyone would plead with the woman to accept the child. Not just accept the child, but accept the fact that he's cheated, accept the fact that the other woman is pregnant, and beg her to take the baby when the baby comes, particularly if the other woman doesn't want the child. And after a lot of begging, she will take the child and raise that child like her own. So I'm asking, that decision that she would have taken, it will not be an easy decision. It won't be easy. So when you say it's not easy, of course it's not easy. It's not. But these women do it. Now, shout out to any woman who has done that. You're strong. You honestly are. I don't know how you do it, but if it's working out for you, then please, well done. It's not easy, but they take this decision. So why can't the man do it? Why can't he take that decision? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Lady B.
Say that again.
Lady B speaking.
Lady B, your voice sounds a bit different tonight. Are you okay?
I'm having small cough. The weather has been very horrible these days.
So sorry about that. Please get well soon.
Thank you. I'm listening to the conversation today and I think complicated somehow. Shouldn't be an issue. We live in a society that we are being treated victims. But in this our society, men are free to period and women, whether we like it or not.
Mm.
And for that to be changed takes a whole lot. Like the last caller said, men don't take cheating like they don't accept it. But we women, culture has made it known to us that we are the homemakers. They can endure. And with that, some people are taking advantage of that to make it look as if women can take anything that comes or they drink.
Mm.
Now, the issue, if it were women, I said the way you were tackling the issue, what if it were the man? You will ask the woman, endure, have patience, forgive him, take the child, and the woman will start doing that. So when it comes to men don't do that.
Okay.
How we stand that cheating? It's something that has been culture. That people, the men they can't withstand cheating when it comes to their wives. But this has happened. So I don't know what happened, whether the other man that impregnated the woman is also a married man. That's why he's rejecting the baby from the woman, which is not normal. It's unusual. I've never seen men rejecting their child, especially when they love the woman they cheated with. And
he's not married.
He's not married.
No.
Okay, I think there should be an issue. Why he's rejecting the child from the woman?
He's not ready to be a father.
Okay. The woman should have known that what the woman did was sincere. She didn't try at all. For a year, you are married, you have 2 children. If for nothing, the 2 children you have should be your priority. You should be able to protect their destiny in their life. That's the essence of a good mother not cheating. It's as if to cheat on your husband is not something every other woman cannot do. But what we women will consider a lot is about the future of our children. Because we believe that anything we do will backfire on your own children in the future. So when you look at all those things and you know your husband is cheating on you, not because of the man, but because of who you are, you choose not to do that. That's just most women that don't like doing all those things.
Okay.
When you said the man cheats,
Lady B, what's your advice?
My advice is that if she has a mother, because the woman said that he still loves her, but there is no way that love will still continue when the child is in the house.
You don't know that for sure. You actually don't know that for sure.
That the man will take the child.
Yes.
If the man can adopt a child for her own, for his own, he should go ahead and do that and let the marriage continue. If he loves the woman to that extent, because if he loves the woman the way he claims, I don't think it would have been an issue for him to bring it here for us to discuss it.
Maybe he can love the woman and still be confused. He can love her and be confused. I think he's still at that confusion stage. He just doesn't know what to do with.
What do you know why he's confused? He can't believe that this woman can do such a thing to him.
Of course. All right, Lady B, back to advice.
So that's it. So either the woman gives the child to the mother, to bear the child and go and drop it to the mother to take care of the child and fulfill the marriage, or the man should adopt it. If he really wants the marriage.
Thank you so much. Thank you for contributing. All right, so according to Lady B, she's saying either the woman has the baby and gives the baby to her mother to take care of the baby while she continues with her marriage and her home with her 2 children, or the man adopts the child, or Festus adopts the child, and then they continue with their marriage. And of course, she went on saying there's so many things that men do. For instance, in fact, this cheating is the major thing here that they can't take. So they dish it out. Some dish it out, because I don't want to generalize and say all men do this, because not all men do this. So some of them do it and some of them can't take it. So that's her advice. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Ipawa. I'm calling for Reduction.
Your network is breaking a bit. What's your name again?
My name is MC Ipawa. I'm calling for Reduction. For Sasha.
Okay, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
I've been listening to the conversation from Ogba in my area for Reduction. So I can't wait to tell him something.
Okay.
The issue is that normally a man can marry like many wives as he like and have so many children, call them my wife and my children. And then a wife can never marry more than one husband at a time. But she better than a big problem. Okay, just take a good look at it. How a man can have different children and one inside his minors. Maybe like they're having conversation, the man will go like, at this particular time, someone take my wife and she can't born this particular one. This one is not mine. I think they are the matters those like.
Okay.
The man will not do that. So what I'm trying to say, at least I know that sometimes people normally make mistakes. But
people normally do what?
I know that sometimes people normally make a mistake. But this particular mistake somehow because for me, what I'm supposed to do, because I will not be taking a good look at someone giving my wife pregnant and she wants someone like me. I will not quarrel with her, but I will just tell her I think I can maintain the position as a wife, even if I quarrel. So no problem. Let it go fast first of all, because this thing it will cause fight.
Okay.
Even if the wife and the husband did not fight, the children will fight.
Why would the children
because
fight?
There will be an issue that beside them they will not like themselves. One thing will happen that one of them will not say, you are not my brother or you are not my sister.
Okay, number one, that's not possible. And I'll tell you why. Because neither the husband or the wife, none of them are going to tell that child or are going to tell their children that this one is not for you. This is not your blood sibling. Nobody's going to say that. Because if you think about it, she said she was going to pass off the baby as her husband's. So we are only talking about this thing because the woman talk her. If she not talk her, nobody go know. The husband will carry the baby like say na his own. So this thing with the woman doing a bad thing. Na bad thing. So you can see why the children that point about the children that one no good day because nobody will tell them.
At the moment, if she knows she's not supposed to first of all open up to the husband.
Okay, so waiting in the advice now.
She should have hide the secret to avoid this problem because long as the man that will I don't be happy with her, even if the man give you and I still love you, but it will still be.
Okay, so what's your advice? What is your advice
My advice for earlier is better. The man should have let her go and continue and take the children. If he cannot marry her wife, then he send the two children. That is final matter for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. All right, so if I'm getting him correctly, he's saying that if he can't take it, he should let the woman go and marry another wife to take care of the children if he cannot cater for them by himself. So you would rather not have another man's child in your house, but you'd be okay with having another woman take care of another woman's children. This mass is not coming together. I understand it from a man's perspective because their ego, there's a lot of, I can't believe it, under my nose, I'm not that man. Like, not only slept with my wife, but now impregnated, and now the woman, I'll be seeing her in front of me every day. Her belly will be growing for another man's child. How dare she? All of that long story. So, I don't mean this in any type of bad way, but believe me, women who go through this when their husbands cheat, they feel practically this way that we're talking about. But as Lady B said, they have to swallow it and move on because culture has painted women as the homemakers. So they don't have choices when it comes to this. But if the man still wants his family together, if the man still wants his family together. He still wants to be the father. He still wants his wife to be their mother. What is wrong with him accepting this child? She made a mistake. She how do they say that? She admitted the mistake, and she's remorseful about this. Yes, if she had not told him, she'd probably have moved on. And that tells you that the man is also kind of responsible, because whatever issues that they had, how do you let something linger up to a year and then both of you are just living in the house, nothing going on, everybody's just there? Who does that for almost a year? And then you expect that she's not going to cheat? If it were a man, of course he would probably cheat. Festus is not mentioning anything like that, probably because that's not the focus of this story. But truth be told, if you look Jimata, where Festus said, if you don't cheat already. Because, but again, that is not the focus of this story. So I'd appreciate it if we do not dwell on that. Let's stick to the story and try to find a solution, or at least just give advice, because that's why we're here. We're having this conversation as adults, and to just give advice to Festus. I don't have to agree. Other people don't have to agree, but as long as you give your advice, that's what matters. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. It's 11 minutes past 7, and this is Adult Conversations. Today we're profiling the story of Festus. Don't worry, you'll catch on. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Could you turn down the volume of your radio a bit, please?
Yes, okay, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Tunde, and I'm calling from Ikeja.
Okay, thank you, Tunde. All right, please go ahead quickly.
Okay, now, the only reason any spouse, either of the two, either the male or the female, would accept it is if either spouse is financially dependent on the other. It has nothing to do with male gender or female gender. If a man that doesn't have a job, that is financially dependent on the wife, goes out and impregnates another woman, that wife that is financially responsible for him and their children will not, I repeat, accept it.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with gender.
Are you saying this because you know, or you're saying this because statistics have shown? Because let's be honest here. If it's not fact, I'd rather you say that this is your opinion, not that, because if you present it like...
My opinion is based on historical and environmental fact. I'll break it down to you like this.
Okay.
In a Western society where a woman is financially independent and a man goes out, a man that is supposed to be her husband goes out and impregnates another woman, what is going to happen? Is the woman going to accept it?
Again, I like that you said Western society.
Let's bring it back here to the African society, where majority of the wives are financially dependent on their husbands. They accept it because singularly the crux of the acceptance is finance. Nobody is going to accept it. That you can challenge. If you are married and you are the one that is financially responsible for the household, and your husband goes out and impregnates another woman, would you accept it as a female?
I'm a different breed. I might not. It all depends on the circumstances that got us to that point. But I like what you just said. I like what you just said. And
what circumstances?
Exactly. See, let me now ask you something. So a lot of people, and I'm sure you know this, a lot of people always talk about the woman and her children. So a lot of times there's always that perspective of, oh, don't leave the marriage because of your children. So regardless of whether the woman earns more,
that also
most of the time, of course, even what you said is challengeable. Everything is up for debate because we're not the only two people in the world. So my point here is there's a lot of different perspectives, and a lot of women, more often than not, regardless of whether they earn more or not, stay because of the children, because that's what society expects. So I just need to point out that children point of view, because more women have said it. Most times is because of the children, because they don't want their children to grow up in broken homes.
Okay. She doesn't want her children to grow up in a broken home. And she's going to accept it. It all boils down to financial dependency on the man. If the woman is financially okay, we are talking about sentiment here. It has nothing to do with the male or the female. We are talking about sentiment, and that sentiment, that breach of trust, has been violated. Okay, somebody, like I said, there is no other way to look at it. Either spouse, male or female. You understand?
Yes, you said that before, and I hear that. I hear that. But what is your advice?
Hello? What did you say?
I'm asking, what's your advice? What's your advice to Festus?
My advice, with experience, with my age and global experience, the woman that went out and had an affair, what was her intention?
I can't answer that because I'm not the woman.
Okay. The advice is she should go and stick with the man that she got pregnant for. She must have had a reason. Whatever the reason is, she must have had a reason. And then she should continue with that reason and stick to that man that impregnated her. Why doesn't she want to give the child to the man that impregnated her? In any society, every man has a right. Every man is entitled to take care of his children. If that other man outside of the matrimonial home is the one that impregnated her, why is she denying that other man his paternal right?
She's not denying him. The man did not want a child. Two different things.
Okay, too bad. Then if the man doesn't want the child or doesn't want to be responsible for the child?
Both.
Then she's at all. She's stuck. She has to be responsible for her child.
Okay, so what are you saying? This story is about Festus. It's not about the woman now. So Festus is the one asking for advice. So Tunde, what is your advice for Festus? What are you saying specifically to Festus? That's what I want to hear. Because you've said a number of things, and I appreciate the opinion, but what's your advice to Festus?
My advice to the man.
Yes.
The man is the one that has to decide within himself for himself. Okay? To do whatever is sentimentally capable of doing.
Okay.
You understand? Anybody and everybody can give advice. Can he live with it? Can he live with the fact that there's a child that is growing in that woman that doesn't belong to him? He is the only one that can make that decision for himself. Anybody and everybody is going to talk about, accept her. But is he going to be able to live with that woman's presence under his roof or with him, with another man's child growing up in that woman? That's advice.
All right, so it boils down to what he decides, right?
I beg your pardon?
It boils down to what he decides.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much, Tunde.
He has to make that decision himself.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. And somebody else said this earlier. I think this was Young, who said it all depends on what he wants at the end of the day. He says he still loves his wife, so it all depends on what he wants. And Tunde is basically saying the same thing. It all goes back to what he wants to do. Now, he's saying that it's not dependent on whether it's a man or a woman. As long as the one person is financially dependent on the other, the person who is financially dependent to a large extent would accept it. Again, up for debate, but he's saying Festus should decide what he wants to do. Hello, good evening. Hello, are you there? All right, kindly call back if you can. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. What do you think is the case right now? What do you think should be the case? What is your advice to Festus? Now, when we call in, let's just focus on the story. Let's focus on the story and give advice within the construct of the story. Now, we don't know all the facts. We don't know all the facts because I'm only dealing with what I was told by Festus. So let's deal with that and give advice accordingly. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please?
I'm Gracious, calling from Alakoko.
Hello, Gracious. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead quickly.
Okay. This matter is a sensitive one. I have an uncle. Let me share what I've seen this type of matter. I have an uncle that has this type of issue. His wife left him. They actually have 2 children in their marriage. So the wife left him with the children for a year. Almost a year or more than a year itself. So when my uncle was searching for them, looking for them everywhere. He didn't see them. But when he found out where they were, she was actually pregnant for another man. So my uncle was like, okay, let me take the children, stay with the man. But after some time, after everything, he now wanted to take both the wife and the children back with the pregnancy. But the woman did not want to come back home. So after some time, after some months, she had the baby, but the baby died. But now they are still living together. My uncle went back, took people to her. They made peace. They took the family back. They are living together. They have another child now. If the man can forgive the wife, if he loves the wife that much,
yes,
he should forgive the wife and then move on with the marriage. That's my advice to the man.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you for sharing that story.
People can do it, but it takes a man with a large heart.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you for sharing your story or that of your uncle. I appreciate that. And thank you for giving advice as well. So Grace is saying, if he can do this, if he can accept the child and go on with his marriage, then she would recommend that he does that. She says it's doable, but it would take a man with a large heart, which is true. All right, this is a message coming in from Bambino. Bambino is saying, good evening, Titi. It's quite unfortunate that the woman in question didn't think about her children before getting into the act. From my own point of view, the marriage is over because even if Festus forgives her, he's human, and a time may come in the future when he will detest her. Besides, if the man she cheated with had accepted the pregnancy, she would have moved on, right? A cheating partner does not deserve a faithful partner, be you man or woman. So my advice is a divorce. All right, thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Kindly call back if you can. All right, Francis from Ibafu is saying, good evening to everyone in the house. Honestly, I'm short of words. I don't know what to say. I had to read that out loud because I'm literally just visualizing his face as he wrote that message saying, in fact, at this point, I don't even know it's someone talking on that message just blew my mind. But if we're being honest, this is the kind of story where you say you don't know what to say because it is a really sticky situation. It is a thoroughly sticky situation. But does that mean there's no way forward? Does that mean there's no resolution? Or does that mean there can't be a resolution? Now, it's regardless of what has happened, every party is responsible at this point. Some people would say, oh, it's the wife that's responsible because she didn't think of her children before cheating, or she wasn't considerate enough of the husband before cheating, or how dare she not just cheat, but get pregnant in the course of cheating. And, they paint it as so unforgivable, so to speak. And another school of thought would say, oh, this is something that the man had a hand in as well, so he should accept it. Other people would say, just divorce her and move on. But regardless of what your perspective here is, you cannot but admit that both man and woman, both Festus and his wife, had a hand in this. They had roles to play in this. Both of them are responsible for what has happened. So if they both decide to claim responsibility and work on their marriage, then that's their decision. That's their decision. But what is your opinion concerning this subject tonight? What do you think? Do you think this is so hard to forgive? Do you think it would take a very rare kind of man to forgive this and move on? And then for the people who keep asking if the other man she cheated with accepted the baby, what would have happened? High chances are that she would have moved on. she would have moved on with that person. And it's possible that since the person is single, maybe the person didn't even want the baby, didn't want her, it was just a fling. Anything could have been the case, really. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please?
Hello.
I can hear you. Thank you for calling. What is your name? All right, try to call back if you can. Try to call back if you can. So I was saying that if the other man had accepted the baby, then maybe she would have moved on with him. Maybe, just maybe. We don't know. Just maybe. Now, almost 1 year into the hard time, the rough patch, is enough to drive anybody crazy. I mean, I'm even wondering which kind hard time we can call a because we don't know the media. Which kind of rough patch that gets we reach almost 1 year. They know because this thing they confusing. Me cannot lie, they're very confusing. But that doesn't mean that it's an excuse. Now, I'm hoping that you understand that I'm not saying that this is permissible, this is right, because it's not. She shouldn't have cheated, let alone gotten pregnant in the process, but she did cheat. And though it's not right, it's not justifiable, she cheated, and this has happened. So we're at that point that the deed has been done. What is the way forward? What is the way forward? The other man doesn't want the child. So it's just extra headache on everyone to keep speculating what she would have done if he had accepted the child. Again, if he had accepted the child, they probably would just co-parent and move on. It doesn't really mean that the woman would have left her family or left her husband and children for this man. Because it could have just been a fling. It may not have been that she was head over heels in love with this person. And if she was, sometimes reality check hits. And in this case, that reality check would be the baby. So we don't really know what could have happened. We don't really know. So I don't think it's helpful speculating what could have. Though I'm open to listening if that's what you want to do. But it's important that we focus on Festus because he's the one who needs the advice. He's the one who needs the advice. He's the one seeking advice. He's the one who doesn't know what to do at this point. And he's confused. He says he loves his wife. Now, if you're just tuning in, let me give you the breakdown of the story. And I'm going to read it just as it was sent so that I don't run into any, stutters as I'm saying the story. My name is Festus. I'm 40, a successful businessman, and my wife is 32 years old, a teacher. We've been married for 8 years. My wife confessed to me a week ago that she cheated on me and is pregnant for the man. We had actually been going through some problems, so we had not had any sexual intercourse in almost a year. We had sexual intercourse for the first time again last week after we talked and actually agreed to go to counseling together. I thought we were making progress after that conversation, only for her to tell me that she was pregnant for another man and wanted to pass it off as mine because the man didn't want the baby. I know we're still going through a lot, but I love my wife. I didn't expect this, so I don't know how to go forward with this. Please help. Now, I asked this question earlier when we began the program. Does it count that she confessed? Doesn't that show that she was remorseful about what happened and she just had to come clean with the fact that she cheated and she was actually pregnant, that she was actually going to pass off the baby as his? Doesn't that count for something? Please call back if you can. Now, I really want to hear from you. So call back if you can. And if you've not called at all, the number is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. This is still Adult Conversations on Women Radio 91.7.
The best music. You're listening to WFM 91.7.
Mr. Johnson, I'm here for my money.
Baba landlord, I'm very sorry. My wife is very sick and I have spent all the money I have.
I've been telling you to ensure the health of you and your family with a reliable HMO.
Reliable HMO? Which of them can I go for?
Ives Medicare HMO Limited. They are one of the accredited health maintenance organizations with thousands of quality and accredited healthcare providers nationwide on their network. They have corporate plan, retail plan, student plan, and even community-based health plan. And also, their premium is pocket friendly.
Please, where are they located?
Their office is located at number 2 Osho Street, Okpebi Link Bridge, off Okpebi Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Their phone number is 080-93-555-863 or 080-3263-9058. Their website is www.ivesmedicare.com. Ives Medicare, health protection in your colors.
Are you searching for durable, guaranteed, elegant, affordable home products? At Eleganza Industrial City Limited, we put you first. From plastic chairs for adults and babies, party tables and school tables, disposable plates and cups, as well as reusable plastics, food warmers and cooling boxes, trash bins of various sizes, baby diapers, lady sanitary care products, luggage of various sizes, hair threads, and lots more. Eleganza Industrial City Limited has got you covered with our elegantly designed products in unique shapes and sizes. Visit us at kilometer 68 Lekki Epe Expressway after Eleko Junction, Ibeju Lekki, Lagos. Or you can call 081-801-99999 or 090-914-73665. Or you can send us an email at eleganzaindustrialcity@yahoo.com or info@eleganzagroups.com or sales@eleganzagroups.com. You can visit our website www.eleganzagroups.com. Eleganza Industrial City Limited. The name is our guarantee.
Now, wow, you just can't stop stroking your baby's body. Oh, my dear, can't you see my baby's skin? You never been having nappy and heat rashes, but ever since I discovered Baby Tributan, my skin has become as smooth as velvet. No more nappy or heat rash. Really? I remember. Tell me more about this Baby Tributan. Baby Tributan is formulated for baby's tender skin to provide effective action against nappy and heat rashes. Use Baby Tributan today and discover the secret of velvety baby skin.
Tributan, a product of Fatesin Healthcare PLC, contains clotrimazole and Istamol. Always read product leaflet.
Now, wow, this they happen, my fellow women, to be ready for any form of attack, harassment, assault. You better make you go this over website. When you be www.dressforher.com. We Rest for Her project that I arrange for you. Or download her mobile app for Play Store to learn how to defend yourself. You can also ask for help if person assault or harass you or anybody where you know by calling 0800 40 40 40 40 for free. Don't wait until it happens to you before you prepare yourself.
Our friend Oliver is what you call a man with a huge appetite, gigantic artery. And if there's one phrase we have come to know Oliver for, it is this: more data, please. No matter what we offer him, more data, please. So, guess what we did? We heard Glo created new data plans for people like Oliver, and we got him exactly that. And guess what Oliver said? Excuse me, please, is this all for me? Only me? Now, Oliver certainly has more than enough data, all thanks to the Glo Mega Data Plans. With the longer validity you get on Glo Mega Data Plans, you can work from home with ease, run your business better, download non-stop, stream music and movies endlessly, learn online, and share data with anyone. No worries. Get 225 gigabytes at 30,000 naira for 30 days, 425 gigabytes at 50,000 naira for 90 days, and 1 terabyte at 100,000 naira for a year. Dial star 777 hash now to start enjoying these mega plans. Unlimited.
Oh yeah, give the left and right, don't touch.
You think you know Nigeria's biggest tunes?
This man is a problem.
Then get in the ring on the Big Tune Show every weekday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WFM 91.2. Be ready.
Female genital mutilation, FGM, is a harmful practice that affects women and girls. Let's talk FGM every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Together, we must fight against FGM and end this harmful practice in Nigeria. Let's talk FGM Wednesdays 2 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Let's talk FGM, supported by Hasty Health Initiative.
25 minutes to 8 on Women Radio 91.7. This is still Adult Conversations. If you're just tuning in, welcome and thank you for joining us. Tonight we're profiling the story of Festus, whose wife cheated on him and had a baby or got pregnant by the man she cheated with. She confessed to wanting to pass off the baby as her husband's, and now that he's heard about that, he says he loves her, but he doesn't know what to do. What is your recommendation? What is advice? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please?
My name is Caroline.
Hello, Caroline. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. My advice to the man is just that you should try. I know it's not easy actually, but if you try and forgive the woman, and if you think you can't be looking at another man's child growing in his wife's belly, she just maybe take a vacation, maybe send his wife somewhere till she gives birth or something that will just a short break, maybe a vacation or till she gives birth. So I think that the next thing is I don't know how to put the word. Just try to maybe help the wife to maybe travel to somewhere till she gives birth. That will be better. That's all.
Okay, so after she has the baby, what happens then?
She can come back. And give birth to the baby.
So when she comes back, are they still married? Are they still working on their relationship? Yes. What's going on from there?
I'm just saying, it's just maybe she just thinks that she went there to have fun. If she give birth.
So who's going to train this baby?
Huh?
Is Festus going to be responsible for this baby?
Yes, maybe adopt the baby legally.
Okay, he should adopt the baby legally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you for calling. All right, you heard Caroline's point of view. Very unique one because we haven't had much of that today. But yes, she's saying, well, maybe the wife can go on a vacation or something that may mix that so that the man doesn't have to see her carry the baby to term. And then when they come back, when the baby is born, they can work on their marriage. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Peter Okoy from Akuti.
Hello, Peter. Thank you for calling. Please turn down the volume of your radio. I can hear the feedback.
All right. Can you get me right?
Yes.
All right. I've been listening to your conversation, so I was driving, so I had to contribute.
All right. Thank you very much.
I think everything we are saying, we also consider the baby in the womb.
Definitely.
Yeah, the mistake has been made, but we must consider the baby right now. If Festus loves his wife and is ready to forgive his wife and take back his wife as his own wife, he should also consider the baby. It's not about who pregnant the woman that owns the baby, but he should brought up the baby. So he should adopt the baby and continue with his life. But if he feels he can't take care of the baby, there's no need of considering the woman back to the marriage. Then he should go for a divorce. That is the best way. But if he loves his wife, he should adopt the child. and move on with his life and forget about all this.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling, Peter. All right. You heard that. Again, unique point of view, particularly coming from a man. Very unique point of view. This is a message coming in from Gloria, from Alimosho. Gloria is saying, good evening, Somto. I hope your day was good. Yes, it was. Thank you so much. It's a difficult situation, but if the man really loves his wife, he should go with his wife to counseling. Both of them should go to counseling, and also the woman should ask God, and the man should adopt the child legally so that the man will not give them problems later. I think she's referring to the father of the child, the biological father of the child, that so that one won't give them any problems later on. Favor from AJ Shagai is saying, good evening, everyone. I have witnessed similar case before. The husband and the wife were separated for a year. When the husband came back to take his wife back, the wife was already pregnant for another man. The husband said he doesn't care, that he will take care of this child as his own. Mr. Festus, if you know you really love her, you can continue with the marriage instead of divorce. And that's coming from Favor from Idris Shaga. Ceci Otegbayan from Agor Palace Way is saying, if they can't terminate the child, they should file for a divorce. That will teach Festus a big lesson, that he shouldn't have starved his wife for over a year, because he can't say he doesn't cheat on her too for a year. What lies ahead if the baby is born is more than what they can handle, because the father might later come for the baby. And that's coming from Ceci Otegbayan from Agor Palace Way, Okota. Very valid point of view. Kindly call back if you can. All right, so additional information is saying from Festus now. Festus is saying that his wife is not financially dependent on him. He's saying that his wife is not financially dependent on him. She's a teacher. She's been a teacher at a really expensive school. So they pay her a lot of money, and she's actually very successful. So he's saying that if his wife decides to leave the marriage, she can actually take care of the two children. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for calling. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
I'm listening to your program. You know, when in Africa, and based on the culture, when you have a married woman in your house, either legally, you understand? It's pregnant. Whether it's for you or for another man, that baby belongs to you. You are the legally married man to that woman.
Okay. I'm following you.
The man yourself pregnancy or later go. That is the option. If you can accept that baby as your own. But if you cannot, then later go. It depends on the man. The option is you, not for another person.
Of course.
Very difficult.
Of course.
You are what you do for another man, you're still with another person, you know, for another man. It's not very easy now.
Yes, you're right.
It's not very easy, it's very difficult. When you can accept it, it's okay, but if not, you have cause an abomination. That's a truth. Just to go and do some ritual for you to accept her back.
What kind of rituals? What are we talking about? What kind of rituals?
You go to your village and they will tell her what you're going to keep out or whatever to cleanse her from their infidelity.
To cleanse her from infidelity.
Yes.
Okay, so if now, no problem. I understand your point of view. I don't know where that exists, but I am listening to you and I'm learning a few things. But let me just ask you this: if it were the man that cheated, will he go to his village and they will cleanse him from infidelity too?
A man in Africa can marry as many wives as possible. That's African culture.
Yes, but African culture does not permit cheating. African culture permits you to marry more than one wife. It doesn't permit cheating. African culture does not exist. It does not excuse cheating. So what happened here was the woman cheated, right? So you're saying she should go and cleanse herself, or the man should take her for cleansing. Exactly. So I'm asking now, I understand what you're saying. So I'm asking, exactly. So if the man cheats too, isn't it an abomination too? Shouldn't he need cleansing as well?
But if the man cheats, you can marry that woman. You can marry as many women as possible. It depends on the man. That's your own problem.
So because he can marry them, that doesn't make it an abomination. I'm just asking. I just need to be clear.
Yes, you know, you don't do it.
You're not answering me. You're not answering me. So you're saying that because the man can marry this person that he has cheated with, that's not an abomination, right? Is that what you're saying?
That the man has married the woman.
No. If the man cheats, according to you now, the woman should go for cleansing because she cheated. So me, I'm asking you that if he's the man that cheated, should he
marry another wife from the first one?
So he doesn't need cleansing? Is that what you're saying? I just need a yes or no. Does that mean he doesn't need cleansing or not? Yes or no?
The man cannot go for cleansing. He can marry as many of as possible. That's his problem. But the woman cannot marry two husbands.
According to who? Who said the woman can marry two husbands?
If you don't do that. I don't know for other people, but don't do it. That's the good news.
So it now means the woman should go. All right. Well, what's your name, please? You didn't tell me your name or where you're calling from.
My name is John.
All right, John. Where you calling from?
Yeah. I come from Magboro.
From Magboro. All right.
Yeah. So you know where the man come from. It's me where I come from. You don't do that. Population.
All right. What is your advice for Festus now? What is your advice? What is your advice for Festus?
For the man that says, I don't know where the man come from. If it's where I come from, she has to go for cleansing first before the man will accept her back. If truly he wants to marry her back again.
Okay.
That's important.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for calling. All right. Well, traditions are different everywhere. And of course, I respect that. If that's what you do, where you're from, then that's okay. I don't know where Festus is from, and I don't know if that applies. But if that applies, well, they would make that decision when they get to that point. Hello, good evening. Good evening, Grandma Laika. Thank you for calling.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So, what to do?
Wow, but along Russia.
I'm sorry that your studio will be cold and you think you are in winter there.
Exactly. I wish you could see me right now. I'm just managing my life. Thank you very much, Grandma. Thank you again for calling.
You did the winter coat. Hey, well done.
Thank you.
Hi,
She's fine. She's fine. Thank you so much. Lady T is good. Thank you.
Salute Adult Conversation family. All the callers, very interesting advice. I'm sure you've seen my comments on WhatsApp.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you see, some callers have said, Uncle Tunde, you know, all what you are saying, it depends on the man, his feelings, his emotions. Because a typical African man, Nigeria, will not accept this. For the man to even come on radio, it's wrong, go. The whole thing for just start ourselves. Because, do they have children before?
Yes, they have 2 children.
They have 2 children?
Yes, they have 2 children.
Oh my gosh. Then that must be like Uncle Tunde said. She must have a reason for what she has done.
She must have a reason. Is it for the cheating or for the getting pregnant?
For both cheating and getting pregnant.
Grandma, they were having issues. According to the story though, he said they were having problems for almost a year. So they had been going back and forth about counseling, no counseling, before they finally agreed to go for counseling, and that was when she confessed. So they were having issues. That's what he said.
Whatever the issue has been, and they've been going for counseling, then during the counseling, she has been cheating. And then when she was not ready for that counseling, she was not doing the counseling.
No, they were not going for counseling. They not. Okay. It was later. According to him, he's saying a week ago, was when they talked about it and they agreed to go for counseling together.
And
so it was
pregnancy.
Yes, then they had sex for the first time in almost a year, and after they had sex was when she confessed. So that's the order of things.
Yeah, so the matter is very, I'm like, see, like the last caller said, there is some plan. It will not be acceptable. If you have to go for that cleansing or whatever, if you're going to give the offense to us, they still do that with some plan. I know, but I don't want to mention it. So you see, the whole thing now is on demand. You say you still love the woman, but what about this pregnancy? Can he take it? You say he needs our advice. Me, if he's my brother, you say you still love, and let him accept the pregnancy now. I wish.
Okay.
If you love me, love my child, love whatever I bring to you. But the man is having issues. The man is not happy. Within himself, let me search his mind spiritually. The man is not happy. He's not happy, that is why he came to us. So now, for the woman to do what she has done, then she should give back and go to her parents' house. Because the man will not be happy looking at this baby now, unless he's ready to accept the baby 100%. But the man for coming to us is not happy. If he's happy, if you want to go with it, the woman can come to us. Then it means the woman has, maybe she revenge. I see it as a revenge mission on the man. Maybe for the man not to touch her for 1 year. But I go do you now. Maybe you don't want to touch me, I go do you. Woman now.
Okay, so Grandma, what's your advice? What's your advice at this point?
My advice for the man is that for him coming to us, he's not happy. So, if you allow the woman to go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Grandma. Thank you. Thank you for calling. All right. She says he's not happy and he's advising that Festus should allow his wife to go. Thank you very much, Grandma. I'm going to read this message from Shegun Fumidan from Ifo. This says she was pregnant for another man and she never opened up and she allowed you to have sex with her. This is bad. If you're truly in Africa, you know what this means. Mr. Festus, pray. And to your wife, I'm glad she willingly opened up to you. Ask her what made her to open up to you. She may actually not have interest in you anymore and intends to get married to the man. Ask, because what she did is very hard to let go. And telling you may simply mean she has made up her mind that whatever comes out of it may be ended up to be, so be it. Ask your wife what she wants. As for me, that's all for the marriage. Even the Bible agrees with separation if something like this happens in a marriage. Divorce is advised. Well, thank you very much for that. And this is what we call it today on Adult Conversations today. Thank you very much. I can still see the phone line buzzing. And I would advise that tomorrow, between 6 and 8 p.m., kindly call earlier so that we can take your calls and we don't have to pass off on it because the time is far spent. So thank you for calling, but I can't take your calls right now. Kindly call back again tomorrow when we're profiling a different story. We do this every weekday, Monday to Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you very much to everyone who has called in, tuned in, sent in text messages or WhatsApp messages. Thank you. On this point, I believe that just as most people have said, it all boils down to what Festus wants to do. It all boils down to what he wants to do. Now, truth be told, you can see it in the way that you choose to see it, but it doesn't change the fact that if he loves his wife and wants the baby, then he knows what to do. If he loves his wife but doesn't want the baby, well, I believe he has a decision to make. And at the end of the day, if he loves his wife but not enough to take this, then he has a decision to make at the end of the day. Thank you very much, and I believe that Festus will be able to take an informed decision from the advice that has been given tonight. On behalf of Festus, I say thank you again, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Same station, Women Radio 91.7, and of course, same program, Adult Conversations. Thank you very much to the engineers on duty, Timilei Adjoa. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Good evening.
Anybody who wants you, they come there already know. I'll be right beside you. I'm the one watching you. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. When I kiss you, when I kiss you, when I kiss you, baby, I'll be a soldier for you. I'm getting the time to you should know I got you. And you don't need to go to. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need to, I'll be running to you, running to you. I'll be running to you, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running to you. I'll be running to you, running to you.